Hey guys, thanks for joining me again on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also hit the notifications button so that you're notified every time we upload a new video. Just to recap, I'm here with Sondra, who's graciously agreed to join me and walk through her journey from seeing some cognitive changes in her mom. She was having some difficulties with memory, and that ultimately led to a diagnosis of mild cognitive impairment. And we were just about to get into kind of what that year was like when she moved in with you. So tell me kind of what was going on in that year. I'm sure that it was a huge adjustment and there was lots going on.
You know, it was kind of a wild time. Again, I've got a family of 5. My daughter went away to college, so my mom literally just took her bedroom. We did the best we could. She is a lovely, pleasant woman, easy to please. But I kind of felt like, as we were going through the day, you know, it was just, I wanted her to have more than just going to the grocery store with me, folding laundry. She did a lot of repetition things like picking up pine needles and collecting them, or picking up pine cones, and loves outdoors. So it kind of put my life on hold. I was working at the time, took a leave of absence indefinitely. And so it was just, literally my life changed from being a daughter to her to a caregiver, so to speak, because I couldn't leave her alone. She'd walk my dogs, I'd have to watch her to make sure she wouldn't get lost. You know, it just was a big adjustment, to say the least, for everybody involved.
Yeah, you said that beautifully, that you went from being a daughter to a caregiver. And that's a really tough change. When did you realize that your role really changed?
When I realized that, for example, when she would wake up in the morning and come downstairs, I'd say, you know, just to kind of test her memory, Mom, did you have breakfast? Or she'd say, oh yeah, had some cereal. Or it just, I had to literally take control and make her meals. She'd help me, but I would actually make her breakfast. I kind of felt like one time she said to me, okay, Mom, because I would say, gosh, Mom, you know, how about let's get, you know, showered up, and oh no, I'm fine. You know, I was like her mother.
Yeah.
And I don't think she resented me for it, but she could tell that, gosh, she's really controlling my life. Physically, you know, I mentioned before, she's very high functioning. She ambulates beautifully, no walker, no cane. Her bedroom is on the 2nd floor. She can do everything physically. I mean, I'm talking like she's in better shape than me. But it's just that mental decline, the dementia. And then, of course, you have to be very patient, because she does, you know, repeat the same stories over and over. She forgot my dad passed away. Where's Bob? Oh, he's in heaven, Mom. Oh, what happened? And we'd go through that. Where's my car? You know, and she doesn't drive. You just have to be very, very patient.
You're touching on a few just excellent highlights to that many people deal with when they're faced with a loved one, particularly a parent that's making that transition from mild cognitive impairment to dementia. Now, not everybody with mild cognitive impairment goes on to develop dementia, but if you have mild cognitive impairment, you are more likely to develop into full-blown dementia. And really the difference is, with mild cognitive impairment, there is some impairment, cognitive impairment, but it's not yet to that point where it's impacting someone's daily living, and they're still able to function well. So it sounds like that was the case early, but then when your mom started living with you guys, it sounds like you were having to make sure that she was eating, make sure that she was taking her medication. So at some point there was that shift, and barring any other diseases that could be contributing to what's going on, that would really represent the shift from mild cognitive impairment into dementia. And so you just naturally started referring to it as dementia, but what you already sort of appreciated actually is a change that we see in sort of that transformation from mild cognitive impairment to dementia. Now, you mentioned something that I think is really important, and we hear about this a lot, that patients with cognitive decline may be a spouse of a deceased spouse. And a lot of times people will ask me, so do I tell them over and over and over again that their husband's dead?
Right.
Or not.
Mhm.
So how did you handle that?
Boy, I wish I would have asked you back then. She still sometimes asks about him, and I just sort of divert. I don't really get into it anymore. In the beginning, because she was there at the funeral, you know, and I wanted to give her peace. So in the beginning, and again, she would ask quite often, "Where's Bob?" And I said, "Oh, Dad's in heaven, Mom." And then she'd say, the same scenario. She'd say, "Oh my God, what happened?" I'd say, "Mom, he had cancer." And then she'd say, "I hope he didn't suffer." And I would say, "No, Mom, he did not. He did not suffer. I made sure, and he did not suffer, Mom. And it was peaceful. You were there." And then she took peace in that, and she'd say, "Okay, well, good. Okay, well, good." So we'd go through that little exchange.
And that was a fairly predictable script.
It
Is
was.
that right? Okay.
It was the same thing.
Yeah.
The same question would follow by the same question.
Yeah.
And it was only a few minutes that we'd cover it.
Mhm.
And then she would be okay with it.
Mhm.
She just wanted to make sure that he was not suffering, and then she seemed to be okay with that answer, with that dialogue.
And it sounds like, certainly not to minimize what you've gone through, but you could consider the alternative where someone might be hysterical that they learn that their husband died. I mean,
Right.
you know, I don't know the circumstances of her husband and how he passed away, but you know, what if there was a traumatic death?
Oh, right.
What if, let's just say hypothetically, if you could imagine back that there was something that you really didn't want her to have to go through over and over again.
Right.
What would you say to people that are dealing with something like that?
And of course, I'm no expert, but had she had a different reaction,
Mm-hmm.
then I would do whatever I could to not go there.
Yeah.
I would honestly probably seek out advice and try to come up with a better solution. You don't want to see your loved one in hysterics. And because she didn't cry, I mean, because it worked for me, it worked for her, the way we played that out,
Right.
to tell her the truth in a gentle, loving way.
Mhm.
Didn't elaborate, just, you know, and that worked for me. Now, like I said, had she cried and really got upset, then that would not be my approach the next time she asked me.
Well, it sounds like you figured out something that really only you could
Right.
figure out.
Right.
Because, you know, say we had met each other in the clinic, I probably would have asked you, how does she respond? You know, does she get upset about it? And then sort of the obvious answer, which sounds like you would have come to anyway, is, well, why would I want to put someone through that when they're not remembering it?
Exactly,
later?
exactly.
Yeah. And just reliving that trauma over and over again.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge point. And there's no right answer, but it really comes down to the individual and how they're dealing with it. So it sounds like
Right.
you dealt with it beautifully.